Welcome to another episode of Trades Secrets, the official podcast of Trades Education Center. I'm very excited to have a special guest with me today. It is Zulfiya from the Omadli group. And I'm not quite going to share what they do because it's very interesting and I think it's very powerful for what the skilled trades businesses need and I think, what they should embrace in our current time. So take it away, Sophia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Keith. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on. So, explain to us. I guess we'll get started with who you are, who a Modley Group is, and then we'll start getting into the skilled trade side.
Absolutely. Omadli Group, we specialize in construction world and property management world. So we help construction companies utilize data to build smarter, to scale their businesses, to stay competitive.
Perfect, perfect. And how long have y'all been doing this? And with that, where did was it more something broader as in terms of all businesses? And if so, when did y'all kind of start honing in on offering these types of services to the skilled trades or construction?
100%. Great question. So, yeah, I started my journey a while back. And at the beginning, actually, I was offering to property management folks. And as you might know, sometimes property management folks might also have a construction arm into it, or they might buy construction company to help manage and build. So, without even realizing that those two kind of connected, I I was helping property management companies to utilize their data
Okay.
to help them to be more efficient, more productive, and also, increase their occupancies, decrease their delinquencies, make sure they have net operating income. So making sure that they are running well and smart their business. And then after that, I started helping other clients that came through, and I just started seeing that some of them are in construction field, so we're talking about different trades. As we know, there's so many, right? Specialty contractors. We're talking about plumbers. We're talking about HVC, general contractors. Then we're talking about junk removal companies. We're talking
Oh,
about stormwater as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so many. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And well, it's interesting that you started on the property management side, and that is something that I've started to learn in being in this field is, man, property management, they have to deal with all of it. Like they have to deal with all the trades. And if they don't have a good relationship with the trades, or if they don't have a side of their business that does that, man, they need it in a hurry a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So specifically, when when you're looking at a skilled trades business, the services, what are some particular ways in which, because we know, at least from my experience, we know that some of not all of the older generation of skilled tradespeople fully embraces technology quite yet. And so, what are some of the ways that you help them understand, man, technology is not the big bad, wolf. It can be something that helps them.
That's a good question. So with the technology that I'm seeing, there's a lot of low hanging fruit. I'm kind of happy about the phenomenon of AI because everybody started kind of waking up and looking at their processes and figuring out, all right, how do I stay competitive? What am I missing out on? Where AI could help me. But a lot of times when I talk to trades, construction companies, property management companies, don't even need AI in a lot of processes that they have. First of all, before we layer artificial intelligence, we need to uh, figure out what processes are they repetitive, are they consistent, are they even needed? Because we don't want to automate the chaos, right? Because AI, we're not going to get any ROI on it. It just doesn't help anybody. It doesn't grow the company either. And from artificial intelligence standpoint, it can get pretty expensive
Yeah.
because we have to train the personnel. We have to make sure that we train the machines as well on the processes and systems that they use. We also have to monitor those machines, and we'll
Mm,
also have a compute cost on the back end as well for
sure.
machines to process that data. So we really need to identify, all right, what are the processes that we have, and what is the right tool for it?
Cool.
So in technology side, there's multiple different tools to we're talking about, for example, business intelligence, that taking their data and then now digesting it, presenting in a dashboard field, for example, that
Mhm.
they now can drill through, drill down in real time. So no more spreadsheets. That is a low hanging fruit that we've seen in a lot of companies that already they win because what you track improves. So
Mhm.
if you're looking at your numbers consistently, not in 30 days, not even in 15 days, not in 45 days when your books are closed, but right now you're taking the job. Can you afford that job? How's it doing right now? What are your materials on it? What is your labor cost on it? Are you over budget on it? So keeping tab on it in real time is the key.
Wow.
And also getting the data from multiple different sources. We have companies that use Sage, that might use build ops as well, right? They have all these different systems that they buy to help them, that they might think that will solve the issue, right? But if the systems are not talking to each other,
Mm.
and then you have team members deriving reporting out of each one of them manually, creating their own source of truth, that what is going on then? You know, there
Yeah.
isn't one source of truth that everybody knows. All right, there isn't a confusion if my leadership is looking at these numbers,
Mm.
that we have PMs are looking at the right numbers as well, to that individual project to make
Well,
it successful.
well, and then because then because you're pulling from those different areas and trying to bring some type of synthesis between all of them.
Yes.
Well, then you're looking at lag time between when you pulled that and put it together versus the information they need today. Um, right? I mean, what I like already, and what I want skilled tradespeople to hear already in this conversation is just because y'all are coming in to help doesn't mean you're automatically going to do A through Z.
Yeah.
It's a conversation, it's a relationship that you're going to develop to say, okay, what do you do right now? um Essentially what the buzzword, what are your pain points, right? And then how can we help you with that? It's not an automatic, we're going to do XYZ. It's, let's look at your company, your needs, and let's find out what works best for you. I think a lot of people need to realize that just because they are talking to a company that specializes in, excels in technology use, doesn't mean they're going to throw everything at you. Go ahead.
So interesting. I'm in a coaching with Dan Martell, and he has this great framework that's called 4 C's to become world trade. World, so to become a world level based company in your business, in your industry, for example. And what he says is 4 C's. Number 1 C is capital. You need capital, for example, to hire people that are talented, right? To buy equipment, to buy materials, whatever that you need to finish your product or services. Then we've got also content. So that goes to your SOPs, your playbooks, your handouts, anything to equip and make your people successful at their job.
Mhm.
So kind of train them properly as well, but it also goes to content, putting the content out there about your services, about your
Mhm.
company, what you do. So as you know, right now we're in technology age. Long time gone, those times where we had, you remember, newspapers where people would put their ads on, and, and
Yeah.
then, they had phone numbers in, right? So now with technology, people discover everything through internet,
Mm.
and through AI. And AI is internet, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of times I hear, hey, people finding my business on ChatGPT. Well, because it's in internet. Just
Yeah.
every time when they give you a AI, just swap it with the internet, and then kind of it helps you to see the scale of it.
Yeah.
So everyone is on their smartphones. Everybody is digital. A lot of
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
sometimes not even watching TV, right? They most of the times watching YouTube. They
Yeah.
might be watching social media channels, LinkedIn and Instagram, right? So we definitely in the age of the technology, we need to make sure we're embracing them and
Yeah.
putting ourselves out there. And we have a new personnel that's also young, that is not used to reading books and the manuals that are 15 pages long. So
Yeah.
we need to figure out, okay, how do we make sure they are successful? Because people build business. There's no other way around them. And
Yeah.
especially in trades, robotics will come long after, but then robotics need a lot of training. They not
Yeah.
just, push a button and then let's go, right? We all know self-driven cars, they need traffic lights, they need
Yes.
sensors, right? They need to make sure there's maps, there's entire training and entire knowledge that they get fed into for them
Mhm.
to be successful. And then again, they're very trained in kind of in closed spaces, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot. And then the second C goes to code. And that's the one. The company that's going to use technology is just going to go so much far beyond the company that doesn't. So whether we're looking at the business intelligence tool dashboards, we're talking about artificial intelligence that are able to process data and now recognize the human language and give you information back
Mhm.
either via text or voice, right?
Okay.
So then we're talking about automation. Well, if you filling out the certain templates that manually somebody does, and then you manually upload into your system, that is automation that could also be helpful to you. So at the end of the day, companies that use technology are going to increase the output per their labor cost.
Mm. Yeah.
And I want that sink in a little bit for everyone who's listening. The output per labor cost is going to go much higher versus the company that is not leveraging that.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So if the companies want to win and want to be on the market and want to actually show their services, compete with other trade companies, with let's say big GCs that they're waiting contracts on, right? That they want to
Mhm.
win.
Mhm.
They want to get in that because they want to get those multi-million, billion-dollar contracts. Well,
Mhm.
they need to make sure they look at their processes and start codifying them
Okay. Got it. I
and systematizing them. And then that comes fourth C is a collaboration. Collaboration, right, takes marketing, takes also sales, takes technology partners, takes also the, for example, general contractor partners, right, that will feed them business.
Mhm.
Also training schools like yours that will help them as well to train their personnel and actually, win because people build business. So every company has two issues. It's either people issue or
Mhm.
system issue.
Mhm.
That is it. There's no other issue. And every company, if you take property management, you take plumbing company, you take, maybe general contracting company, all of them have the same thing: sales, marketing, deliver. That is it.
Mhm.
Sales, marketing, deliver. Just three pipelines that they have to fill to make
Yeah.
sure that they have constant flow of leads, then that could turn into customers, and make sure once customers give them projects they can deliver on those projects, because then the cycle repeats itself as these people are going to go talk to many other
Mhm.
customers, potential customers, about them. So every business, doesn't matter it's my business or, it's funny, every time I go to and I speak to construction companies, when they talk about project managing, right, it's literally like me. I take the project, we build the dashboard, or we build artificial intelligence. Same thing. We have to go bring developers in. We have to make sure we have a PMs. We have to make sure we have sales part selling those projects. We have to make sure we have a marketing to fulfill. So the entire and the delivery as well. So that is all. And it's just the companies that are looking at their operations to win with their sales.
Mhm.
That is the key.
I like how those 4 C's that you described, I like how there's almost this alternating internal external conversation that happens between those 4 C's
Yes.
of businesses have to look inside as to what they're doing systems wise, personnel wise, but they also have to look externally at, okay, if we have these systems in place, if we have these people in place, are we then translating what we want to do inside to have the right impact outside? Is that kind of a gist of kind of the four?
Yes, because at the end of the day, what we're looking at is most companies have all the information, all the answers, they're sitting in their data. It's just how fast they utilize their data, how great they're at interpreting their data, not getting overwhelmed by it, not getting, oh, it's just too many rows. Like if you ever seen the Excel spreadsheets that gets put together by trade companies, oh geez, it's miles and miles and long.
Yeah.
No wonder that everybody kind of like, oh my God, like it's hard to look at this, I don't want to put this together. Or I don't want to look at this because it's just
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah. 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 It reminds me. I know a local electrical contractor, and one of the things that I went and toured their facility, and one of the things that they noticed years ago was there was a particular setup that they used often, like almost 70 80% of the jobs that they had, they used this particular setup, and they're like, okay, instead of us loading all the components of that setup into our system to be charged to the customer, and where we've got to go select 10, 20, 30 different items to put on that every time, why don't we take those and create, okay, this is all 20, 30 components make this one item in our system, and let's make that the thing that we select for a job instead of over and over clicking 20, 30 items on a spreadsheet. It's one item and all those things are built into it.
Mhm.
Is that kind of speak to that kind of automation that you're talking about?
So that's one of the automations, but also now let's look, well, how much of that item are we selling, for example? How much versus costing us? How much are we using it, right? And also looking at all jobs in kind of one place and seeing, okay, which job is doing well versus the other, for example, which customer is giving me more stats, it's running stats. It's pure data, but not having those answers will not help them to move forward or also kind of have a tap on what's working, what's not. So they're not finding out in 2 months later that they didn't make money. And also the rate they might have charged was wrong.
Yeah.
Because again, for example, let's say somebody just forgot to change the rate and
Oh,
invoices had been sent out. That happened as well, for
yeah.
example, right?
Yeah.
Now they have to do true ups, reconciliations, and that's it. Like the revenue is down.
Yeah.
Things of that nature also happen, but that gets avoided by giving ability to see the dashboard because it pulls how well is your data. So if your data is bad, you're going to see it and then we'll be like, oh, wait a second, what's happening here, like this looks like a red flag, and now you can dig into it. But in spreadsheet you can only look at one snapshot of that data, and oftentimes it gets missed.
Sure. Well, and it sounds like too, again, you can, and you and I think have talked about this before. You can have all the data in the world, and data is great. But if me as a business owner, if I'm not aware of how to pull meaning out of that for my business, I might as well not have any data because I don't know what to do with it. Great, I've got a massive handful of data here. I need somebody to help make sense of it so that I can see, where am I losing money on jobs? Where where am I not keeping up with how much I charge? Um, where are the jobs coming from? Is there a particular area that I could focus on, that if I focus on that even more, I could really maximize profit based on what I'm getting out of that area?
That's a good idea, yes. And especially like what is my sources, right? So I can focus on that. And then another thing is there's just automations. Hey, how do I make sure that a lot of times even I talk to trades and they don't even have their Google business, for
Mm,
example. They're just simple reviews, right? They're like 2, 3 reviews and they've been in business for a while. But a lot of times now people look up information, people look you up. So
mm-hmm.
there's automation could happen every time you finish a job, you send, for example, automatically review. Can you please review my business? So when people can go out there and kind of figure it out, oh, you've been in business for a long time, you legit. This is not this is company that's still active. So just the little things. For example, we did this for one of our trade companies where every time because we know once the job is complete, their first job is complete, we can send automated notification of the Google form, and that's done. So that's something that they not even have to worry about or
Yeah.
remember. Um, yeah, things of that nature.
Well, because again, that's that external piece that,
Yeah.
like you just said, whether we like it or not, the internet and how our business looks on the internet is important. It's grown in importance. And if we can deny that all we want, but if we're denying it, we're doing it to our own detriment as a business. And so we have to embrace the fact that our Google My Business page has to be up to date, and that we are reaching out to people to get reviews. I think that's so important what you just said, because I think a lot of companies, I've seen a lot of small companies in the area that I try to look up and contact. eh, eh, There's very little in the way of being able to contact them and interact with them. And I'm like, man, if y'all just had these few things that people it make it easy for people to find you and do business with you. Is that kind of a big part of what you're trying to help do?
Yes. So one of the offers that we have is we help them to bring their data, for example, in the form of dashboards. So it's much more digestible for them. We bring their Sage, for example, build ops or Yardi. They might use that as well to kind of give them more real time tap on what's happening, what's their revenue, what's their, for example, labor, what's their revenue per labor,
Oh, okay.
metrics, what is their job profitability, what's their gross margins are, for example, for each individual jobs, for each individual service. So they have a service business, they have project business as well. So
Yeah.
just kind of give them overview and also ability to drill down into individual offerings that they have. But another one that you just said something, I talk to a lot of my friends, and they constantly tell me, so we've created Vicky, a voice AI agent that picks up the calls for a busy plumbing company, busy commercial, for example, cleaning company, or let's say roofing company that will get a lot of calls,
Yeah.
HVAC
Yeah.
company. So electricians, that's another ones. And what we've seen is every time I talk to somebody, they're like, hey, I'm trying to call the local plumbers and nobody responds. And then by the time they get back to me, like, I found somebody else already. And I actually had a conversation with someone else a couple weeks ago that we are looking to implement Viki for. And they said, you know what, we're paying for Google Ads to be number one. But what's happening is because we don't have a system, people that are not paying for that are getting our jobs.
Oh, yeah, because they don't have a way to answer for when people call.
Yeah.
Oh, man, is that frustrating.
Yeah. Somebody else is eating your lunch and dinners while you paying for it.
Well, but again, unfortunately, that shows the time that we're in. Somebody came in and told them, "Hey, you should do Google Ads. That's really good for your business." The only problem is whoever told them that didn't also tell them, "Well, if you're going to do that, you've got to have systems in place to answer those when they come through, right?" And that's kind of what you're speaking to.
Exactly. So they thought, in their case, they thought they had a tap on it, but not really, because we humans, we go for lunch, we take a break, and then things don't get entered in the system, and then it was just falling through the crack. Another
Wow.
one, someone that I talked to, they had someone, for example, go on their website, they sell facades, and they would download their brochures and handbooks, but nobody will call them, say, hey, what project do you need this for? Um, you know, like, would love to help you. Do you
Yeah.
need more information? Can you tell me more about this? Right. So that's a lost opportunity right there, because there isn't, because they can't, like, they have other things to attend to. They have operations, other clients, other projects.
Yeah.
But that's a really perfect for Vicky. Vicky could call them and say, just curious, thanks so much for downloading this. Would you be curious to talk to somebody? Maybe I can book a meeting, for example. And then the humans still do the selling. So I just want to be very clear here. I still huge believer on human to human connection.
Yes.
But on the admin side, at least the person is collecting, getting kind of heard. So somebody's picking up the call, right? The machine is picking up the call, collecting information, putting that in the system for the person and pinning the person. So now they don't have to call back and play the phone tag, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
They can get the information, they get the estimate on their phone, on their email, and then they can follow up. For example, okay, this is your address, I see, this is your information. Do you need any additional questions? Do you need help? Of things that of that nature.
Well, again, it's increasing the efficiency of the whole system, right? Of instead of calling back and forth, missing calls, it's shortening up um, that whole back and forth, making it more efficient. And I mean, I think talking to a number of skilled trades businesses. I mean, that's part of the frustration, right? Is man, it takes me so much just to get a job because I'm calling back and forth or whatever. But shortening that up and making that more efficient. I mean, you're going to gain time, hopefully, and hopefully gain some revenue over time.
Also, another thing, sometimes they think, oh, I cannot afford someone full time right now to pick up the calls and
Sure.
also log them into our systems, keep track
Yeah.
of the conversations. Um, And I would like some solution in between. And this is a great solution because it's going to be fraction of the one that you will hire somebody full time. It will get everything in the system for you. So another thing that I was told by another business owner, he would like, I'm so scared of missing call because I would put my phone on do not disturb because I need to get stuff done. And then the potential customers will call me or customers will call me. And I'm like, so they become the bottleneck where
Yeah.
they are the ones passing the information and collecting the information. So I think a lot of business owners, when they start the job, right, they start the job because they know how to do that particular skill. They're
Yeah.
very technical and very good at that.
Yes.
And as we say, there's a lot of comes around it, and there's a lot of admin. So if you're looking at your hourly rate range, let's say, and you doing the tasks there, $10 tasks, like $15 tasks that are not making your life easier, your business better,
Yeah.
or growing your business so you can actually grow and hire skilled workers. Those are the things you need to be tackling with automation, technology tools like artificial intelligence or business intelligence tools.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what a great time to be alive in terms of, just how much we can utilize technology to handle a lot of the, I say heavy lifting, but the heavy lifting of those more administrative jobs that, like you just said, skilled tradespeople are really good at their trade. It doesn't mean they're really good at business. And, you know, uh, part of that is having the humility to say, I need someone to help me with the business side.
Yeah, and it's totally fine. I think, as I mentioned, every business experience that. It doesn't matter if they provide plumbing services or they provide cleaning services, or they would also provide, let's say, property management, right,
Mm,
services, or even let's say barbers, just kind of giving random.
yeah.
Every business has sales, marketing, and distribution. So they have to go sell, they have to make sure of the market, and they have to make sure they deliver. So all of those three items, they have the admin part that's related to each
Yeah.
component. So they just need to make sure that, and I know it gets overwhelming sometimes because all of that coming into you, like, oh, what do I take? What it's 1% better every single day, right? And then I really like the book E Myth.
Okay.
Um, it's a great book by Michael Gerber.
Okay.
And in Myth, he talks about Sarah, who's a pie owner. She was she apple pie owner, I believe. She's a basically she had a bakery shop, and she was doing everything herself, or she would hire people that kind of not work out. And if you're like, oh, okay, I can't trust anybody, I'll just do it myself. And at the end of the day, he talks about how you have a technical skill at great at baking pies, but all the other hats that you have to wear. And it's okay to go bring collaboration, bring partners that know what they're doing and they can
Yes.
fill in the gaps for you in that particular sphere that you're trying to tackle instead of doing it all yourself and kind of speed through the process and really focus on what you do well.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Well, if um if a skilled trades business says, "Man, I'm swamped. I need some help. I'm not even sure where I need help." What's the process of contacting the Omadli group, Omadli group? What does that look like? What does that process look like?
Good idea. A good question too. So a lot of times what we do, I think I take time to kind of assess their business, almost like a, you go to doctor and then let's see what's happening and then I write prescription. All right. So this is your diagnosis, this is your prescription, this is what we need to do, help them out with figuring which tool is best for that particular problem. And they can find me by, for example, going on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Zulfiya Forsythe. I'm on Instagram as well. I'm on YouTube. So all of the social media and yeah, channels, they can look for me as well.
Perfect. And I do remember the last time you and I talked. I do remember part of this part of the conversation that we had was you can only help them as far as they are telling the truth to you about their business.
Yeah.
If they're not going to be transparent about the condition of their company, what they think they need, you can only help them so much as you know truthfully about their business, and I want you to speak to that.
Yeah, this is a good point there. It's, as we go to the expert, or we go to the doctor, right? We have to tell them, all right, this is what I'm taking. For example, this is what I've tried. These are the other conditions that I have. So in that case, would be these are all the tools that I bought. For example, this is what I've tried. This is
Yeah.
the process we're doing. And I know sometimes, depending on the size of the company, it could be very large processes. A lot of people can get involved,
Sure.
but this is where we kind of map it out. All right, what's your high importance? What's something that right now high is a priority that you would like to automate, or you would like us to help you with, and what is kind of least on priority side? And also in that evaluation, we'll be able to see what processes should not even be happening. What
Mm,
can we eliminate completely? Because we don't want to automate something that should not be there, that is not growing your team, that's not growing your company, something that should be just eliminated as complete step.
sure. Especially something that, or even more so, something that's a duplicated, system, right?
Yeah.
That would be a waste as well. Uh, but yeah, I
Yes.
do remember us having that conversation, and I know that that's talking with people that offer services to businesses. I know that's a fairly consistent thing that I've heard is, well, I can only help a business if they're honest with me about who they are and what they're doing and what they're struggling with. And like you said with the doctor, like, if I go to the doctor and he's asking me how things are going and he's like, "Wow, your blood sugar is really high." Well, I don't know why that is. And then, afterwards, well, I'm gonna go have a Coke here in a minute. I have like 5 a day. Like, well, if you don't tell him that up front, he's gonna wonder why in the world you have high sugar. So um
Yeah. Yeah.
so anyway, what else? Kind of give, if you will, one last kind of summary of the key areas that y'all have been able to help, in particular, skilled trades businesses. What are the key areas that y'all have been able to help them in terms of transforming how they do business so that they're more profitable, they're more efficient, and honestly, public facing wise, they look more professional because of it. Go ahead.
Yes, this is a good one. So with Vicky, we give them consistent customer experience. So now they know, for example, whenever they call, there's a Wiki system that will respond to their message. The information will be entered in the system. No more, or I forgot to enter your address, or the information is incomplete. For example, all of that is in there. So there is an expectation there. But it also helped them. So they went from missing almost 55% of their calls to zero.
Wow.
So 55% busy line, voicemail, missed call. So
Wow.
only 45% of calls they were able to fetch before. Now 100% of calls get captured, entered in the system, and they also get visibility on their conversions. So we give them a dashboard, bringing our business intelligence brain on, and help them see, well, how much of your leads, the first time new requests, are converting into being a customer.
Wow.
So they can see, all right, so they can see the stats. Who's calling me? Are they new customers? Are they exist, or are they new, for example, new potential customers, new
Mhm.
requests, or they are current customers? And what are they calling about? They have a full visibility on their business. We give them a dashboard, we give them drill through ability. They can see summaries of every call as well.
Wow.
So that has transformed their business, because at the beginning they wanted to have a tab on their marketing efforts. They wanted to see, all right, if I'm bringing these calls from Google Ads, and we have
Mhm.
ability to also classify those calls if they're coming from Google Ads, well,
Wow.
how many of them are coming?
Okay.
And how many of them actually getting converting? For example, if we have a new request, let's say, 10 requests, how many of them are buying and scheduling our services? What's the percent there? And then who are they? And they able to kind of drill through, see their names, see all the call summaries, for example. And also they can see how many complaints do I get? What are people talking about? Because a lot of times they don't even have a visibility on what their customers are telling them. So consistent custom experience improves their product, improves their service, makes them a leader in their industry and in their area.
I love it. That's fantastic. So then, as a company does that with you guys, is this a yearly contract? Is it a month to month? What does that kind of look like as well in terms of, what should people expect when they come to you? What kind of a commitment do y'all would y'all like from them? What a commitment are they going to get from y'all?
We do white glove service. So that means is, for example, if you're looking, Vicky, on installing um, AI phone system that is 24/7, we map out the entire process. Because by this time, now that we've done multiple, for the receptionist, we really have a couple of categories that people call. But it can get very extensive because they would, depending on the workflow, how these calls need to be handled, for
Sure.
example. So you really have the new potential leads calling you, so new potential customers, so new requests. Then you have your existing customers. Then you have people that are looking for a job that want to get employed in your company. Then you have also people that are trying to sell and offer some goods and services for you, or talk business matters for you. And then you might have some fifth additional, let's say, fire admirals will call you if you're an electrician, for
Sure.
example. You know, so how then each of those will be handled with separate workflow. You want to implement in the system? How do you want to qualify your new customers, for example, that are calling you that make sure that you can offer the service and they good fit? Then do you want some sort of notifications to be sent in Slack? For example, after that gets inserted in the system, do you want certain team members be pinned? Hey, there's a new request form, attend to, for example, right? So all of those, depending on, it really turn into full blown now workflow. And now something they have not had before. Now they have a process, they have a system, they have documentation on it. So then when they grow and scale, they have the system
It's
that's
all
in
there.
place. It's all there, exactly. And Vicky is trained on it as well.
Wow. Wow.
So then we also produce dashboards. So this entire, I would say, it's been about 5 to 7 weeks sometimes of a process to kind of, because now we have to map everything out. We have to sit with the stakeholders. We have to ask them, well, how do you want this to be handled? How do you want that to be handled? What type of notifications do you want to receive, for example? A lot of times they don't even have a tap on what before has been happening on phone calls because of there no visibilities on what's the volume of phone call, how we've been responding to the phone calls, for example,
Wow.
where are they coming from? And now the data that they have can transform their customer experience, can transform their services, their products that they offer, give them visibility on their financials as well. Do they need to hire additional crew members, for example, to perform this job because they have more demand that's happening?
Yeah.
When is that demand happening? When is the call happening? What hours are mostly people are calling?
Mm-hmm.
So we visualize all of that dashboard. Now they can see, oh, this is my busiest time when people call, for example. And this is my busiest time when of the revenue that I generated as well from those calls.
That's cool. I what I'm the big takeaway that I get about what you all do is it it has to start with this right here. It has to start with human to human conversation.
Yeah.
What does your business actually look like? What's the, if you will, the brick and mortar, if you will, of what's going on? And now let's see how we can utilize technology in a way that takes away some redundancies, makes more efficient the information that you're gathering from outside, automates some processes that again makes your data more consistent in terms of what you're getting. Am I
Yes.
right on that? And then also makes interaction more consistent with customers as well.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to say is that our wiki is multilingual, so we added Spanish for it.
Wow.
So, and that's huge because we also had heard from our clients say we have a Spanish crew, for example, and sometimes they have questions about HR benefits, for example, maybe some workers' comp questions, safety questions, right? And is there a line that they can call to and get all the answers in Spanish, for example? Absolutely.
Wow.
You feed the machine that knowledge base. Now they can just call or text with it and get all the information. So it bridges the not the language gap. It
Wow.
brings people together, give them tools so they can be successful, so they are all well informed. So there isn't like a broken telephone just going back.
Well, I thought I was done, with this conversation until I just realized when you said that about HR concerns, because we've mostly been talking about external, customer facing
Yeah.
things, but you'll also help on the internal side of
Yeah.
helping companies be able to communicate with their employees better, expectations, like you said, your policies and procedures. Y'all help with those too.
Yes. So you could, what you can do with the artificial intelligence, right? They can call in the line because the people that could be calling, actually, you're right. Another line, some of your people that are stuck somewhere, they can call the main line. Hey, tell and so, right? So communication, basically, it's improving the communication, filling the gaps, whether it's a language gap, knowledge gap, and making sure that things are systematized.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, I'm hoping what skilled trades businesses are hearing is that technology can and should be something that they utilize to help, at the very least, maintain what they're doing, if not do it better and be able to grow better. Is that?
Yes. Yes. So the idea is they've got all the data. How are they leveraging the data? How are they communicating? Is just pick different tools that are right to get the insights out of data to make the most informed decisions.
Which then goes to, if you're not utilizing your data, that's wasted money, right? That's wasted
Yes.
money and time because you're getting, like you just said, you're getting that data regardless because of the systems you're currently using. Make use of it.
So I was talking to the big multi, I was talking to a big $6 billion company in construction. And what they told me is they are very much on top of their data. They're building data lakes, for example, where they can take their systems information from like Sage, Build Ops, and also the internal docs as well, all kind of into one space where they now can pull up different reportings that they want, the visualization they want, or chat with the information that they want.
Wow.
So different things that they can equip their leadership team and their teams together to be more successful so they can move faster and
Wow.
they can make less mistakes as well.
Hmm.
Um, so when I was talking to them and I was showing them our wiki and also our Foreman is a knowledge base agent, where basically you can put your standard operating procedures and now kind of ask questions. That we did it for um, Bonneville County is actually one of our first pilot with them.
Wow.
Um, they put in their commissioner minutes, they put their ordinances, and now they can just kind of ask questions. But that could be transferable to the constructions as well.
Wow.
So taking their internal docs and quickly ask questions based on that with verified page numbers and screenshots and everything. So they have to no longer have to go dig through the information. And the feedback that I've got was like, what you got is needed. So if you go show that to mid-market construction companies and they use that, they can compete with us. They can go leverage the data they have, the system they have, and now they have the superpower as
Wow.
well.
Wow. They
So yeah,
it just opens up opportunity,
yes,
which I mean, I think everybody's looking for opportunity.
yeah,
So, well, again, you said you're, obviously, I think you and I found each other on LinkedIn, I believe. And so you're on LinkedIn, you're on YouTube, Facebook, all the places. I'll make sure I have some links so people can find you there. Um, but man, I surely appreciate you coming back on with me. And thanks again for your time. And I really hope people really hear from you and from the Omaldi group that technology is your friend. Embrace it. It can do, especially through a group like you guys, it can really be used to help grow into something maybe you haven't even thought of growing into before.
I would say if you're coming and listening to this podcast and just say word trade, and I will send you my Notion link. It's packed with AI tips. For example, how to write your LinkedIn page, for example, how to create content, right, based on your testimonials, based on your work that you're doing. For example, it has all of the prompts inside.
Wow.
also have a tutorial how to write a better prompt as well that are absolutely free, how to create your own AI assistants as well. And every time, and I have some marketing and sales tips in there as well. I'm building that beast every time I'm learning. I'm just sharing and putting everything in there as a links, as a Google Sheets for others to kind of dig in and yeah, and use them as well in their businesses.
Awesome. So the word was, if they comment the word trade, did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, you heard it. Comment the word trade and reach out to Sophia and get on the road to utilizing technology in a better way than you could have imagined before. So, thank you again. I appreciate your time. And, folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of Trades Secrets, the official podcast of Trades Education Center. Again, I'll give you one last chance to say goodbye and go ahead.
Thank you for having me, Keith. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Have a good one. Thank you, guys.